Good evening. This is a meeting of the Township Committee, August 16, 2021. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the Two River Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk all on January 7, 2021. Committeeman Clark.
Here.
Committeeman Sedembrino.
Here.
Committeewoman Snell. Here. Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our Constitution, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have Certificate of Appreciation and Proclamation. We have proclamation recognizing August 31st, 2021 as Overdose Awareness Day in the Township of Middletown. At this time, I'd like to invite Kim Kratz, the chairperson of the Middletown Municipal Alliance, and Angela Lake of Crossroads to join the mayor at the front of the room, please.
So well, first of all, good evening, everybody. I want to thank Kim and Angela for being here today. One of really Middletown's great programs and great services that we offer is our Crossroads program. And Angela and her team and the Drug and Alcohol Alliance, which Kim chairs, does an amazing job on a very, very, very small budget, as I'm constantly reminded. But really helping those in need. And, my first year as mayor in 2019, then Deputy Mayor Tony Fiore, in the audience here, so he's forever shall be known as Mayor Fiore, introduced me to a woman, Nikki Tierney, who really inspired me about her story about life and about her struggles with addiction. And, looking at her case, she's ended, or she continues on a positive note in terms of she's still with us. She's still here to tell her story. She's still here to talk about her struggles with addiction. She's here to help keep those who might find themselves in trying times, and particularly today when and last year when we faced lockdowns and closed businesses and people didn't have outlets. And sadly, they moved towards prescription drugs or some type of stuff. And right here in Middletown, we have a free program that helps people in need. And August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. And I want to thank Angela and Kim for all of the work that they do each and every day. It's never about the big things, right? It's always about the small ones and the individual stories, because no one story is the same, and no individual comes and has the same problems, home life, work life balance that is in this way. And I'm so proud that we've been able to move the needle a little bit on Nikki, and now she's helping us here. But her story is out there, not just across Middletown, across Monmouth County and the state, but across this country. And we need to do everything we can to help those in need. So I won't talk and filibuster anymore, as I'm being told, like, stop talking. I feel high all over my back shoulder. So I'll let Angela go and that can.
Well, so as Mayor Perry already said, Crossroads is a completely free program available to residents. We provide free substance use evaluations, and then we also have 2 licensed counselors on staff who provide free outpatient counseling. If for whatever reason during the assessment we determine the person needs a higher level of care, we make sure to link that person with whatever their needs are. So that's Crossroads. If anybody has any family, anything that needs referred, you can always send an email to crossroads@nj.org. We will link it on the town website as well. And then the other piece is the alliance. So the same as the chairperson.
So the alliance, we feel fortunate in Middletown to have this. The alliance is comprised of parents like myself and also stakeholders in our. So we have our township committee, we have our mayor, we have the board of education, we have our police department. Also folks in the cover to helpful to us in our program. Our biggest program that we offer for our fifth graders in town, so it's an after school program. We run 3 separate 7-week sessions. And so it's our fifth graders who are going to each school. So the Thorn, Bayshore, and Thompson. And so it's a lot of kids. And we were uncertain what our program was going to look like last year with the pandemic going on. And we were so surprised that and so pleased with our kids rose to the occasion. Our Thompson session, I believe, 68 children. So we had 68 kids on the group call. So it was wild. And it really filled a need for a lot of these kids. And what they said and the feedback that we received, that it filled an outlet for them. It was an avenue for them to express not only what they were feeling, but that stress that they were going through, being isolated and dealing with all of those things that often times could lead to certain risky behavior. So it was certainly when so the Alliance meets on the 3rd Saturday of every month at 8:30. We're hoping to be in person. And so it's in the annex and the prop and the website. That's all the information. Alliance also. So everyone's welcome to the public, and the more folks that we get involved in town, the better. We're our most precious resource of our children, and prevention is key. Good to see it.
Well, thank you both. Obviously, in Monmouth County, already this year, we've lost 51 people with drug addiction, drug overdose. So this program is something that is, it's, as much as I don't want your phone to ring, Angela, there are folks out there that need it. So I want to thank you both very much. And I have a proclamation for designating August 31st, 2021 as International Overdose Awareness Day. It's not a cause, not something I want to clap for, not something I want to celebrate, but something that I want to make sure that the public is definitely aware of, cognizant of, and knows of all the things that we're doing to offer to our residents. So I want to thank you both very much. Thank you both. Am I done?
Yep. The next items on tonight's agenda are just for the record. I'll read the proclamation titles. The proclamation recognizing September 11, 2021 as Patriot Day and the National Day of Service and Remembrance in the Township of Middletown, and a proclamation recognizing August 3rd, 2021 as National Night Out in the Township of Middletown. We also have a proclamation recognizing September 2021 as National Preparedness Month in the Township of Middletown. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have approval of minutes. The July 19, 2021 regular meeting, the executive sessions for February 7, 2021, February 16, 2021, March 1st, 2021, March 15, 2021, April 5th, 2021, April 19th, 2021, May 3rd, 2021, and May 17th, 2021.
Any comments, questions? Motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. This time we have public hearing on proposed ordinances. Our first ordinance 2021-3313, amended and restated ordinance authorizing granting of certain deeds of easement upon portions of township-owned property pursuant to the Barton Bay and Sandy Hook Bay Hurricane and Storm Damage Reduction Project Port Monmouth, New Jersey, Phase 2, Contract 4.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2021-3313? You get, if you have, you sure? Okay. What she just read, yeah, that you can speak on that public ordinance. Come on up. And just come right up to this podium here and just state your name and address for the record, please. Great.
I'm not really sure if it's an ordinance, but I figured since I'm here, I'm going to speak.
We got plenty of people here to explain it to you.
Okay. So, I live in Portland.
Yeah.
So I'm aware, I got something, a certified letter about the next phase, the contract 5.
Yeah.
I know long range, it's a good thing, it's obviously to flooding or a very vulnerable area. But I'm not clear on what it's gonna look like, I guess, maybe it sounds superficial, but I'm really not clear. I don't have a vision of what seems like it was boxed off in the map in there. And I'm not clear, I guess. I want more information and I don't know where to go for that.
Tony, Ted, who wants to
Is
say?
is your property affected? Are you going to have, is somebody looking for an easement on your property? Because I don't know exactly where on Port Monmouth Road you are.
I'm
Park Lane, Park Ferry.
You live in Park Ferry?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Homes there.
So the primary purpose of this is that the flood control system is going to be a combination of levees and flood walls. So if you've driven down Port Monmouth Road, you've seen what the flood wall looks like, right? It's that sort of riveted looking wall, kind of a buff color. So there parts of it are going to be literally just that, a wall, and parts of it are going to be more like traditional levee, like you see down at Diffuse Creek. If you go over the bridge on Port Monmouth Road, you see off to the left, you see that earth mound, essentially. It's got a flat surface, slopes on either side. That's a more traditional.
At Bray.
No, not Bray. Well, there is one at Bray. It does go to Bray, but it also goes all the way to Port Monmouth Road.
So is it like a mound?
Yeah. No, it's a mound that stops the water from passing. And it's got a flat surface, because people will walk and jog on the surface of it, and it's got sloped sides. So parts of it will
It's a
be
natural looking levee.
But if you were to go down Port Monmouth Road towards the marina, right?
Toward the marina.
Yeah, and just as you're going over the bridge, look off to your left, you'll see that levee that goes all the way to Bray Avenue.
Okay, there's a big.
Well, that's a little different. So that's the floodgate that you see there, right? So that there's a gate system that will close and open depending on tides and when the storm surge is expected. And then there's a pump system that's there, and that's only one of 2 pumps that will ultimately be built. There'll be a second pump on Main Street in Port Monmouth. But just to the right of that, if you were looking at that floodgate, there's a levee that protects North Middletown. Doesn't protect Port Monmouth, protects the other side. Now you're going to get one. Now you're going to get a levee that will protect Port Monmouth.
Right.
So you will be protected by that living in Park Ferry. And so it'll depending on exactly where you're. I think mostly you're going to see the levee, and it's going to look like an earth mound essentially.
Just where would that be? I know it sounds selfish, but it's fine. I live right on the Port Monmouth Road.
Yeah. So if you go out of your development, make a left on Port Monmouth Road. Okay.
Yes.
A left on Port Monmouth Road.
Yes.
When you get to the Monmouth County Marina, have you seen that?
I'm talking about what's gonna be.
It's going to look very much like that.
But where is it gonna be? If you can just give me a.
Oh,
visual.
it's going to,
That's what I'm asking.
okay, it's going to run essentially along Main Street, along the Main Street
So
Port Monmouth.
it's all along Main Street, adjacent to the water, like the wetlands or
It's,
whatever.
it's closer to Main Street than the water, but yes.
Okay.
So if you drive on Main Street, there's no home, across from the homes, right? There will be an earth levee.
The levee, okay. And is the wall also there or?
That area is mostly levee, I believe. Once you get further down, some of it turns into wall, depending on the type of property you have there. Further towards Route 36, further towards Route 36.
The grade actually.
Like the levee is also going to go, if you know, on Highway 36 where Township Hardware is, and there's a consignment store there, some small businesses, behind those properties will be a wall because they don't have enough room to build a levee. But we're in the wetlands near where you live off of Port Monmouth Road, off of Main Street, there will be a more traditional levee. It just looks like a big earth mound with grass, vegetation growing on it and a flat surface.
big thing on the road, what are the floodgates?
Okay, that,
So where was, because I read that it said there's gonna be like a little thing in, like, with electricity and
that's there.
That's already existing.
It's built already.
That pump is there. It,
one though, you
Just-
said you're gonna build another one.
no,
right?
Not a gate,
just pump.
just, yeah.
It'll be much smaller than the one that's there. That'll be, over on, Fort Monmouth Road.
And
I mean,
across-
on Main Street, I'm sorry.
So you know where Bay Shore,
Waterfront park.
is, the parking lot,
Mhm.
and then there's grass there, right?
Mhm.
What's happening there? Because there's a raising of a road and all that.
Fort Monmouth Road,
I'm on Fort Monmouth.
okay, so the section of Fort Monmouth Road, sort of between you and the dunes, will be elevated. The surface, of it, not a heck of a lot, but it will be
Like
raised.
6 feet, I'm trying to visualize. So it's just gonna like go up basically,
Mhm.
like
It's about 4 feet, actually.
4 feet.
4 feet.
4 feet, and it's gonna go up like right near Park Ferry.
Between Park Ferry and the dunes, yeah.
Okay, so. and-
You won't really notice much from that. It will help.
Yes.
It acts as a part of a levee, really. That's what it acts as.
Okay,
They-
and then across the street in that grass, like the wood grass area, are they building something there as well, or no? Their walls?
Across Fort Monmouth Road?
No, like when you're looking at the bay,
A parking lot for
the
the,
park, right next to the parking lot, adjacent to the parking
I
lot.
think there's anything there.
No, there's nothing going.
That's pretty high. That goes,
Wetlands that he said.
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay,
that's where the flooding comes in from the
no,
back.
I
not from the-
understand
yeah.
that. On the map, it was like all red around it, and I was like thinking, is it gonna be?
If you want to schedule to come in one day, I can sit down with you and go through the map in a lot more detail than we can do here.
No, I appreciate that. I know, I don't want to take your time, but I didn't know that there's people like in my community here now. I just randomly happened to find out about this and,
We had a,
there's people concerned.
just so you're aware, we had a meeting, a web meeting with the Park Ferry Homeowners Association. What, 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago?
3 months ago.
And then we did a similar one with the Dunes Homeowners Association. But here's my card, just give me a call or send me an email. We'll schedule a date.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Yes, sir. Come on up. Thank you very much for your comments. And Tony will get right back to you on scheduling something to come in with. Yes, sir. Your name and address for the record, please.
Jacob Miller, 96 Main.
Okay, great.
So I live at the intersection of Main Street and Broadway,
Yeah,
right? So I know that the plan is to put the gate there crossing Broadway.
correct.
And between Broadway and Lydia, the plan is for there to be one. And past Lydia is going to be the levee, correct? I have a pretty significant concern regarding the actual construction of the flood wall. I know that it's going to require some significant pylons being drilled or driven into the earth.
Yeah,
And I know that, when the flood wall was being built over on Fort Monmouth Road, I'm new to the area. I moved in a year ago. So some of my neighbors were able to feel the shaking of their houses from the construction, like, blocks away. Now, what kind of shaking is going to occur to my slabs, my foundation, to my neighbors' pylons when the construction is 30 feet?
So what they typically do, anytime they're doing sheet piles or pilings, is the Army Corps of Engineers is doing the project. They'll contact nearby property owners. And they'll come to your property and they'll photograph all the conditions of your foundation, your slab, inside of your house, and the exterior of your house. And, should anything, and it's very unlikely, I don't think we've had it happen yet. Right, Ted, I don't think we've had a case of anybody getting damaged. Well,
And just to be clear, we're not doing the township is not doing the construction.
Right.
so they will get an assessment of your home. And then if there were to be a problem and it was something they caused, they'd obviously have to repair it.
Sure. So a couple points in response to that. One, Mr. Nelson, I understand that the township is not
Yeah.
doing this, but I don't feel represented in Trenton. I know there's a lot of federal funding coming in. I don't feel represented at the federal level. I have nowhere else to go.
No, I understand. I just want to make sure that was clear though.
same.
Same.
Yeah.
Not
We don't-
feeling represented.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping at a minimum, my community leaders can advocate for me, hear me out, and, This is my concern.
Well, I can tell you for certain, I wasn't on this governing body when the gate was made, when the gate was built. But you can be certain that any and all resources of the township we have a very good working relationship with the Army Corps of Engineers. I've sat through plenty of very long meetings about the gate and the construction, and then the same meeting over and over and over again to discuss them. And I assure you that any concern that you have, you're going to take Maureen's card, who's my assistant right over there, and you're going to be in close contact with her should you have any type of concerns. But as Mr. Mercantante mentioned, you know, your home and the homes of your neighbors will all be documented. And that's one of those things that we really encourage you to allow that photography to be done of your property, so that if in the event that there is something that goes wrong. Now, this man sitting over here knows more about driving pilings than anybody else. I can plan it. So go ahead, Rick.
So when they're driving on steel sheets, they're going to have meters that are going to tell them how much they can actually, you know, push the driving of the sheets. It'll tell them that you cannot do this anymore. You have to stop because you're creating too much shaking or disturbance to the ground. So
where do they set those measurements?
they're going to set them all up. They're going to move them. There's going to be somebody that's going to be their job every day. It's just to monitor the.
So how far away? Because, you know, we're on sand. It's prone to jiggling, right? So, you know, what's going to happen here is going to be felt here.
They're going to be basically right. So I like Tony said, I do drive piling. So wherever that piling is being driven, there's a certain calculation how far that needs to be away. But they're going to document that. And they're going to document their own photographs, because a lot of people unfortunately see it as an opportunity to, wow, I got this cracked sheetrock here. This happened from the contractor here. So they're going to document it very well. But you should also document it. But the sophistication of the equipment now to monitor that. The shaking it's intense, so it's very accurate, and they will stop it and they won't shake. If they have to introduce a way to drive the sheets with less vibration, they have the ability to do that as well.
Okay, I appreciate that answer. Thank you. Second question is going to be, how tall will the flood wall be, and how far away from Main Street is it going to be?
Ted?
It's approximately 25 feet from the edge of the pavement roughly. And I can tell you more precisely, if you take my card, I can actually show you the plans.
If you want to schedule a day with the lady from Park Ferry, you come in and we can go through it in a lot more detail with you. Or it doesn't have to be the same day, I was just joking, but we can show you in a lot more detail the profiles of it.
Final question before I ask a couple other questions, if that's all right.
Sure.
These plans are finalized, there's no changing regardless of what, you know, we discuss.
Well, this governing body's not making changes. Like
We don't.
these are Army Corps. This ordinance is for
But
easements.
if I were to ask you to advocate on my behalf, you know, on citizens' behalf, because
Yeah.
all of my neighbors share these concerns, and I'm coming to represent Main Street between, you know, the crux of Main and Brainerd and to like Toledo.
Sure.
So what advocacy could be done?
Depends what you're asking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say like what can be done when at this point in time, no construction is occurring, right?
Well, right.
But what I can tell you is that 2 Mondays a month and every other day of the week, my office gets calls on dozens and dozens and dozens of requests from people all across the 42 square miles. And these members of the governing body up here get requests from citizens that reach out to them and residents that reach out to them. Tony gets his own, Ted gets his, you know, Colleen, not so much, but Colleen just keeps me in line. But my point being is that we're here for you throughout this entire project, and we'll do everything we can to ensure that you're getting not only protected, but you're protected from any type of damage that occurs to your home. And an advocate that says that we'll be there for you in the event that something does.
That speaks to another question I have. Sorry, guys, I know I'm taking a long time. I appreciate this. So let's say damage were to occur. I mean, Mr. Hibbler Vice Mayor Hibble, sorry.
That's a nicer title than you have.
Yes, I like that one.
Deputy, but vice is a lot nicer.
Vice Mayor. I, trust you, I trust your expertise, you seem to be knowledgeable in this, and if you're saying that the risk of any structural damage is, little to none.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. It is possible, but they're gonna be monitoring it as they're shaking each piece, and it's gonna be documented. So the chances on an older a newer structure, if your home is newer,
Brand new build.
then I would think it's very minimal chances of having any potential damage. And it's gonna be the contractor. So the contractor has insurance for that. I have driven piles for a long time, and and the contractor wants that person that's monitoring that to monitor it the best that they could, because that's their proof that they didn't do anything wrong. So they're gonna document it the best that they possibly can.
Can I make a recommendation to Tony? For this, set up a meeting with all these residents out here, let's try and get that done. But let's involve the Army Corps and let's give them a heads up as to what some of the concerns of the residents are out there. And maybe they can demonstrate to the residents how they're going, what Rick is saying. And show them what's going to be done.
And if you could bring someone into the next meeting, that would be amazing.
We can schedule.
Well, we would do a separate meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
We would do a separate meeting and we'll make it known that it's going to happen out there. We've had, I know you said you're new to the area. We have had quite a number of public information meetings that have occurred from the very beginning of this process that usually take place over at the VFW. But we would definitely be able to put a meeting together and make it known to your fellow residents in your neighborhoods and have the Army Corps out there to explain how they're going to monitor it, what it's going to look like, how tall it's going to be, all that type of information, which I think would be useful to all the residents out there.
That would be very helpful. So 25 feet out, that is a follow-up question.
Well, the top is 12 feet, right?
Their elevation
13.
and the road is probably around elevation, and this is roughly around, say, 7 at the, probably at the lowest.
So the top of the wall and levee throughout the whole system is elevation 13 feet above sea level.
No.
So depending on where the road is, it's gonna vary a little bit, but the roads in that area tend to be around 6 to 8. Probably the lowest is that one section on Broadway that, floods if you sneeze too hard.
Yeah.
So based on that, you're 7 feet
That's
above.
the lowest, that's about 2 feet.
Love that
Yeah.
about Broadway.
Yeah.
I love that it floods. I treat it as though I see it come in when the tide gets up, from my bedroom, and it is my boat.
I don't know if you've seen the gate on.
I got a couple other residents, if you could talk to them, explain that love to them, I think they'd love to hear that.
I would be happy to have a gate before you get there.
There's an existing gate over on Port Monmouth Road. I haven't seen it yet.
Like the big monster.
No, not
not
a
that.
road closure gate. On the old section of Port Monmouth Road, there's one in already. One on Broadway will be the second, and then there'll be another one on Campbell Avenue. So there'll be 3 altogether. And there are a lot of houses near that one as well. So we'll have meetings with people when we know that those are getting ready to get close to issuing contracts for those. We'll have meetings with your neighborhood and that neighborhood to fill everybody in on exactly what to expect.
Is there any way that we could do it before the contracts are just about ready to be completed, so there can be adjustments made as needed, so that we can have our voices
Look.
tangibly heard?
We're pretty far out from the contract.
Yeah, we won't.
That's like
Well,
that shit
my
too.
understanding was that the project was set to be completed by the end of 2023, which sounds to me like it's bang around the corner.
That's been,
Probably about right.
I think,
Brian.
no, the engineering has been done for a long time.
Right.
The design work is all done.
Done, I mean, like years done.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine
So,
that started.
yeah, a long time ago, once the appropriation.
Started in the 90s, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Started in the 90s.
Yeah, it started a long time ago. So, and then the contracts are probably awarded. I mean, I don't know for certain. I mean, we're not involved in that process, so it's the Army Corps.
Here's the thing. I mean, and we meet with the Army Corps, we can talk about these things in more detail. We can set that up in the next, few weeks. So that's not really that big of an issue. But the point is that they're very accommodating if people are asking for adjustments that are, cosmetic, that are, appearance, that sort of thing. But major changes to the engineering design, that's probably a lot to
I
expect.
mean, I'm no engineer, right? I don't want to
Right.
figure the construction. I'm just thinking about, not only the safety of my house, but, I am a little bit shallow. I love that. I love being able to sit on my front step and look at the grasslands. It is a concern about.
If your house is new, it's elevated.
It is.
So your first floor is going to be above the top of the levee. So,
12,
Yeah.
from the house is good, but sit up.
Yeah.
Which is not elevated.
yeah,
Which, is what it is. at the
Then you're
end
gonna
of the
see
day, but
11.
I'm just,
Yeah.
Trying to see what kind of cover.
you either see a levee or a wall. I'd
I mean,
rather see a levee.
I'm gonna see wall, I would much rather see levee.
Me too.
That's
Right. Yeah.
possible to be adjusted, but especially considering how close to Broadway I am and where the gate is gonna be.
That sort of
that's
thing's a problem.
that's a point, yeah, for that meeting with the Army Corps, because they're the ones that are, taking the bulk end of that, really all of it. It's not really the bulk end, it's all of it. So,
And then just as a final point for today, or I would love to reconvene with you guys in the Army Corps and discuss this further with my neighbors.
yeah,
Mr. Nelson, if anything were to occur and I need someone to come to bat and, help me explain what fair remunerations I am deserved, is that you I would come to?
no, it's the Army Corps.
Well, right, but if I'm gonna need a lawyer, right?
Your insurance company.
Yeah, we can't represent
It's not
you.
you guys, it has to be through my
Your
insurance.
insurance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The concern I have is that the insurance company would take this as natural causes. I need to talk to my insurance company, but, what are the odds that I'm not covered? And then,
I don't know the answer to that in terms of what coverage you have for
well,
you.
I know you don't know what coverage.
Yeah.
you have. That wasn't my thought.
It's really your insurance company is going to contact the insurance company for the contractor. It's that you're not filing a claim through your insurer. Your insurer is going to, because they have an invested interest, obviously, in your property being of sound from a structural perspective, but they're going to contact the contractor's insurance company that was doing the work. So that would be who your advocate is.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Just as a final note, as in Reagan's case, 9 words.
I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
So I'm hesitant and skeptical about everything, but I do trust you guys. I think, local government is the only efficient means to do any of this. And so you're going to see my face a lot more from now on. So I hope you like it. Thank you.
Well, welcome. All right, thank you very much.
You got him with the 9 words. You just made us nice.
In case you didn't know, my daughter's name is Reagan, so I got pretty much all of his quotes down. Yeah. Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2021-3313? Seeing no other member of the public, I'm sorry, we got to go to Webex, right?
There's no hands raised.
No hands are raised. Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2021-3313 that is joining us via Webex? Folks coming in, are you here to comment on the easements? Okay. All right. With that, I will close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt this ordinance on second and final reading. At this time, we have ordinance 2021-3314, amended and restated ordinance authorizing granting of certain deeds of easement upon portions of the township-owned property pursuant to Raritan Bay and Sandy Hook Bay Hurricane and Storm Damage Reduction Project, Port Monmouth, New Jersey, Phase 2, Contract 5.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2021-3314? So it's just a separate contract number 5 as opposed to contract number 4.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, seeing no members of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on second and final reading. At this time, we have ordinance 2021-3315, bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $950,000 for the acquisition of body cameras, in-car video and storage, and accessories for the police department by and for the Township of Middletown in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $650,807 in bonds or notes of the township for financing part of the appropriation.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2021-3315? This is the police body camera one. No members of the public. Anybody joining us via Webex? Okay, seeing no members of the public stepping forward, I move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on the second and final reading. At this time, we have introduction of proposed ordinances. Our first ordinance, 2021-3316, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $340,000 for various park acquisitions and improvements by and for the Township of Middletown and the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $250,000 in bonds or notes of the township for financing part of the appropriation.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held September 7th, 2021. Our next ordinance for introduction, the 2021-3317, 2021 salary ordinance.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held September 7th, 2021. At this time, I'd like the Township Committee to adopt a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 21-198 through 21-212, including firefighter application and bingo and raffle applications.
Heidi, we're gonna pull resolution 21-200 for a separate vote, please.
Okay.
So the consent agenda would include resolutions 21-198 through
Resolution 21-212,
212. Thank you.
firefighter application and bingo and raffle applications.
Perfect. Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes. Sorry,
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda.
I'm messing him up now.
At this time, we have resolution 21-200, a resolution authorizing fireworks display at Beacon Hill Country Club for 8/29/2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Recuse.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 21-200 with recusal noted. Okay. At this time, we have the Township Committee acting as the ABC issuing authority. We have resolution 21-213, a resolution authorizing the renewal of liquor license for 2021 through the 2022 licensing term. License number 1331-33-030.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Committeewoman Snow,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 21-213. At this time, we have Township Committee comments.
Committeeman Clark.
Like to congratulate the New Jersey Hammers. The 9 and under team from Middletown won the USA Baseball World Series. They're number one in the state, their age group. So congratulations to them. And nice work by the Nipissing Fire Company doing their dedication to the Parker family and the Nike missile incident that happened on Sandy Hook. They did a terrific job with that. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Committeeman Clark. Committeeman Senabrino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Only one item this evening. Did last video. I'm going to point out something that you said again that you glossed over.
What did I do now?
And this was at the, well, it's a good thing.
All right.
It's a good thing. So this was at the Crossroads presentation with Kim and Angela, and the mayor said, he said it's never about the big things. At the end of the day, it's always about small things that are done that add up to the big things. So I want to amend your comment, and it always adds up to the big thing or big things, but it's always the small things that are done and when nobody's watching that make this town better. So I just want to extend my thanks, gratitude to both Kim and Angela and your team helping out Middletown in a silent way, but it's something that we always need. Thank you so much. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Committeewoman Snell.
Thank you, Mayor. I would also like to congratulate Kim and Angela for all their hard work. I think about what we've been through with the pandemic, and I think what you do is really important to our residents. It's been tough on a lot of people, and I think having these resources for them at no charge is like super important. And I know a lot of people don't reach out. So I just want to say, if anybody's having any trouble, the resources here are magnificent. And these ladies work so hard. And I truly admire what you do. So thank you. I'm going to sort of update you on what we're doing over at the 9/11 Memorial Gardens, the World Trade Center Memorial Gardens. We've started all our work getting ready for the anniversary. And we're moving along really nicely. The gardens have been weeded and mulched. The walkway has been started. We sold about just under 300 bricks. So we're going to start the walkway and go from the street to the arches. And we're going to lay all the personalized bricks we have in now. But I want everyone to know that you can continue to order the personalized bricks. We're going to continue that part of the fundraiser until the walkway we have completed. The plans are right now to have the walkway go to the arches and to the where we're going to put the fountain eventually when we finish fundraising for that. And there's also going to be a walkway in the middle, which leads me to talk to you about foundations for both monuments. We're having a first responder military monument near the arches, and also another monument for a police officer named Joe Capriati, who took care of the families and maintained the list of all we lost here. The foundations are in now, so if you want to get over to the gardens, you can see the work being done. The bricks, probably we'll keep on ordering them until we finish the walkway. So there's plenty of time for that. The banners have been ordered. They should be in, what do you think, Brian?
Next week.
Next week, okay. If anyone still wants to order a banner, we can probably sneak it in, but we don't have the option of ordering anymore because time is waning. The lawn signs have been so popular. And I'm finding that there's competition now in neighborhoods where one person has it and then another person feels, well, now I have to have it. So we're on our second order and we're getting low on it. So the plans are to continue. I'll be at ShopRite on Saturdays and Sundays as I have been from 9 to 12, doing them on both Saturday and Sunday through the end of the month. But you can also go to see Maggie at the Middletown Arts Center. She has a good supply there, and I can probably restock her a little. I think I have an extra box in my garage. But you can either go to either site for either pickup if you've ordered online, or you can also purchase there. So what I'm looking forward to is running out of signs. So, please make an attempt to get there if you've ordered one. There's going to come a time where we have to shut down because we have to get ready for the anniversary. So I think that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Committeewoman Snell. Deputy Mayor.
A couple of things, Mayor. I just want to give a shout out, and I told him I would do this. Kevin Carmody, he just achieved Eagle Scouts this past weekend, and someone in the crowd that definitely uses some of his stuff every day. I'm not sure if you know what he did over there, but definitely amazing job. He built some raised gardens at No Limits Cafe, and he also raised $7,500 and gave them a check for $5,000, which also is, well, I guess, contributed to all of our seniors in town donating food over the last few months. So great job, great ceremony yesterday at the Elks Club in Belford. So again, great job, Kevin. His family couldn't have been more excited. It was the best ones I went to, so awesome job. I also want to bring up that the mayor doesn't miss many things, and I was so grateful that he missed looking at Marina as I'm laughing here, pitch, hit, and run with the young kids. They wanted me to run, which Tony in the back there will definitely say I wasn't pretty good there, but I did. So I was glad he wasn't there, but I was able to throw the baseball. I did hit the target one time out of 5, which was probably a lot worse than most of the people there. So that was a great event. Thank you, Jenna, for hosting. That's funny, huh? Andrea.
All the things you say to me and I can't laugh at that.
Yes, I'm so glad he wasn't there. I'm just so glad. Andrea and Kim, fabulous job. What a great program that you offer and that you guys are a part of and taking care of our people. So I appreciate that. So thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm only going to add one thing. I echo the comments, all members of the Township Committee. Today is my daughter's first birthday, and I am here with you tonight, and that's okay because my wife and my daughter is learning that I'm often out and about. But I just want to wish her not that she's watching this, but a very happy birthday. And the reason that I am sitting up on this dais is for her and for people like her all around this township. And I hope that the leadership that we provide today continues to provide her with a Middletown that we can all be proud of. So with that being said, I'll open it up for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to make a public comment, you can come right up to the microphone here. We ask that you state your name and address for the record. I'm going to start with folks here in Town Hall, and then I'll shift over to those joining us via Webex. We can just do one at a time, okay? So if you can join her, absolutely. No, okay. You sit right in the front row. How you doing today, Miss?
Right across the room by the school.
Sure.
And it's very disappointing to me that all of those fields that our taxpayer money went into building are locked. And there's nobody there anymore. Those playing fields were always full of people. They've got soccer games, there'd be kids practicing baseball. We were over there the other day, and there was 2 kids went over. They were hoping to practice lacrosse. Everything's locked. Nobody can use it. It's been emptied all summer. It's a sin. It's a sin.
Well, it just opened. So.
But they're locked.
No, but you said all summer. We literally just cut.
It's a lot now. The ones across the school are locked too. They're not that to be just. The ones by the school.
Both turf fields on the school's property. Yeah.
It's all locked. Everything is locked. I mean, those fields, they used to be full of people, full of kids playing sports, and now they're empty.
Explain.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, what happened was that we've trying to set up a system where we have fields that are primarily for games or their permits are issued to use them for training and practices. Because when they're just open, what happens is people leave loads of trash behind. And we've had nightmares with piles of garbage left behind, bottles left behind.
And that's just not true.
It is true, because it is true, because we get the pictures sent to us by the leagues who permit the field saying,
It's
hey,
100% true.
why am I here? And I've got a pile of bottles now I have to clean up. So it does happen. You're not seeing it now because they're locked most of the time. And people can reserve the fields and they can use them anytime they want. They have to make a reservation. We have tons of fields in town that are open all the time, that people can play in if they just want to, kick a ball around. But those fields, and we have other fields in the Fairview Fields off of Oak Hill Road, those are game fields. And we're trying to do that to preserve and keep the quality of the fields as high as possible and not have the.
Exclusive, those.
No, you can get a permit for them.
Anyone can get it.
If you want to use
Like,
the
if
field,
you want
get a permit.
to go pick us.
Kids that use them. I used to use the playground.
But it's not exclusive. Anyone.
Well,
who wants
that's
to use
because
the
there's
field can reserve
a,
time.
that's because there's a playground right at Nutswam School.
Yeah, but you can't use that during.
Well, that's an argument that you're gonna have to take to the Board of Education. That's not something that I can solve here.
No. I mean, there was a playground, and that's one,
At Normandy, correct.
used an awful lot. I used to go down there with my grandchildren, and other grandparents would be there with their grandchildren during the day when the kids were at school. Now there is no playground. There's this really ugly piece of wall and concrete that nobody's at, who's full of weeds. But that's, anyway, that aside, I'm sorry, I think it's a bad thing that all of these fields have been closed and now there's nowhere for the kids to play.
We have 70 parks in town. I'm sorry.
In that area, they always were full of children, always. I've lived in this town for 38 years, and those playing fields were always full, and now they're empty. Nobody has used them, I haven't even seen a game.
I was there today and there was a soccer practice going on today.
Well, compared to, all right, well, that's my opinion. I have another suggestion. Also, I gather that you're going to put in a new playground at the corner of Hubbard and Navasink River Road.
No, there's not a playground going there, no.
What is it going?
You're talking about the Cleta property at the corner of Navesink River Road and Hubbard Avenue?
Yeah.
That is an old greenhouse site that was purchased that we own. And the idea behind the improvements, and we worked very hard with Congressman Chris Smith to acquire funding for this property, but we're hoping to do a traffic improvement to Hubbard Avenue to relieve the traffic congestion of those on Navesink River Road who make a left to drop their kids off at River Plaza Elementary. They will no longer have to make a left onto Hubbard anymore. They'll be able to go into an entrance. So there's a parking lot for Horsey Pond, which is right there, okay? Which has I'm sorry?
I know where Horsey Pond.
Okay, which has very limited public access as it currently stands, almost zero public access. So not only would this create a parking lot for that to provide access to Horsey Pond, but thanks to a collaborative effort with our Board of Education, we would also be able to improve the traffic safety in and around River Plaza by extending out so that you would be able to turn off of Navesink River Road into the back of River Plaza Elementary School's parking lot.
I could have sworn that it said that you were putting a playground.
Whatever report that is, it's wrong.
It was on the Middletown, whatever online.
It wasn't in Middletown Matters.
What the
That comes from
discussion-
the township.
What the discussion was that it's a parking lot primarily for Shadow Lake and Horsey Pond, because people really don't have a place to park if they want to drop a boat in there. So that's what it's primarily for, and to also create this alternate traffic flow that would improve things. In the future, might there be some other use of that as a park? Yes, maybe. Don't know what it will be, but that's the primary.
Not a
use
part of this
parking.
plan.
It's not this plan. Does not include a playground.
School has a playground.
The school has a playground right next door.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you both. Any other member of the public here in Town Hall wishing to make a public comment? Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing. My name is James Evergers, 226 Harmony Road, from Dillsville. This is my third or fourth time this committee in dealing with some of my concerns about the swim club. If I may, I have some.
And I'm right to that.
Starting with my meetings with Mr. Mercantante 2 years ago, we've been trying to get relief on the constant noise. Since they set up the second building, the noise is not. We have not been reaching out to the township and have been working with Helen. But what happens is they reduce the sound when the county comes to take measurements. They go below the 65 decibel threshold, they are 50 decibels. And then they raise it up. And I have recorded using a radio check sound meter, 60 decibels, 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, I don't mean to sound like this is a petty issue, but this is constant. All right, I even brought up speakers. I can play it for you if you wish, because it is sort of static. It is white noise, and it is all the time.
Who from the county comes out?
Sorry?
Who from the county is coming out? Not the person's name. Who are they? Environmental. Okay. Yeah.
And they have measured the sound at close threshold. They have measured the sound over threshold during the day and issued that warning. But nothing is going to change until they are forced to build some kind of sound abatement. No one took into account that the new building was going to reflect the setting. It's constant harassment. It never stops until there's power. Even then, they run a generator. Generators as well. The actual. I'm here representing a few neighbors that are affected by this, the Usos. Joe Uso is not able to attend due to their health. And we're asking for relief as part of nuisance ordinance 341 and disturbances ordinance 236. Okay. The township doesn't have a noise ordinance, but state ordinance should supersede that. According to my meters. I'm not saying my meter's calibrated. Freedom Shack. So it's 3 years old. But it's definitely something that in calibration of sound systems.
Can I just ask one question? When the county health department comes out and issues have they issued any made any complaints aside from warnings?
I don't know, but I'm privy to that information.
Okay.
Environmental has told us that they're not going to come back anymore. They've given us the name of the contact at the swim club. And that person did not respond to our comments. All the text.
And the reason they said they're not coming back, their job to come out.
They're internal, they come up to me, but they go to Middletown, take a measurement, it's over, they send them a letter. They come back and it's just below. They only come back during the day, and we like to use the yard at night. See, hopefully on the drawing there. Back of the house. That's completely affected by both the direct sound from these four men and the reflection.
So I think, because obviously, as you mentioned, I think Tony, what we need to do is we need to talk to Terry O'Connor, who's the county administrator, and find out from her what type of action if any, has the county taken with regards to this property, since it is then that's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I have not gotten a single contact or report from the county that they were coming out taking measurements or that any of them were excessive.
Yeah, that's the question I have is I'd like to know what steps have the county taken from the Department of Health's perspective, from within their jurisdiction, I guess, really, about measuring the decibels and asking them that if they have not done it at a variety of times.
But they will be ending up
I'm sorry?
All they can do is find them.
Uh-huh.
We're asking if the township and require them to put in masking, to put in a sound barrier.
We can ask them.
I mean, there are requirements on the ordinances for sound barriers.
Yeah, we've done it, just most recently for, ShopRite. The residents requested a sound barrier and, ShopRite was, even though I guess technically they didn't have to, they did. They planted certain evergreens and they installed a very sophisticated, sound blocking fence system.
That's what we're asking.
Along the back. So, Tony, let's just talk to the county.
We can reach out to them
And let's talk to,
ask them to do more than they're doing, for sure.
yeah.
They don't respond, so the Zoom, the expert does not respond to promotes from myself, thanks for myself, contacts from.
Sure. Well, we'll reach out to them.
The second time, and these are complaints that have been filed through the township. As I said, the first time I was before you, September. Another complaint that we started filing earlier this year was the lights that glare into our yard. They added if you look on page 3 in the top left, they added a second light on top of the pole. And as you can see in the picture on the left, it is straight into our yard. This is the fence in my yard.
Are you able to supply us with the digital copy of this? I don't want your name written all over it, is really why I'm asking. Just so that when Mr. Mercantante does meet with the representatives of Ice World, he has these photographs. I just don't want him to have them with your names all over them.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
These lights were shining directly into our yard, Uso's yard, and they were not on the approved plan. So we received the lighting plan based on who's the was.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can definitely get them to, we can
Remove
definitely have
that.
an ordinance that prohibits them from directing lights at anything off their property.
I mean, I couldn't find a direct ordinance except for golf driving ranges that prevents spillage, but that is something that we
No commercial development is allowed to have light spillage onto an adjoining property, so we can get them to fix that.
You mentioned it was a light pole that was not on the approved plans.
The light pole has a single fixture on the approved plans, then they added another fixture on top.
Yeah.
You
have a copy?
It always outside shields, zero light spillage over the property. That could be something that could be addressed here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were to put baffles, give us anything that would shield that from spilling into our property, the use of property, would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Mercantante will be in touch with you. No problem. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Okay, moving over to Webex. Go ahead.
There's one.
Okay. Any member of the public wishing to make a public comment, you just have to use the raised hand feature to indicate that you'd like the opportunity to speak. Go ahead, Heidi.
Hi, my name's Don Watson, living at 1 Collinson Drive. I heard you mention something about ShopRite and the sound barrier that they built over there. I was wondering, a few people that shop over there have told me that there's no shade in the parking lots, and when they come out, they're inundated with heat. And I was wondering why this plan for this shopping center was built or approved without any provisions for shade in the parking lots. I know we've required that
shade
in other
shade
yeah,
in
like
the parking lot.
Yeah, like trees.
Well,
there
there are trees in the parking lot. That was a requirement of it. They're just not mature trees.
Okay, I haven't been over there, so I don't know. I was just asking a question because some people have raised concerns, and I told them that I would ask.
But just so you're aware, Don, that when ShopRite took over the Sears property, they actually weren't technically required to do anything. Because they were just moving into an existing building, essentially. They modified it, but they didn't require any formal township approvals. So, and if you remember the Sears parking lot, there was literally zero vegetation in the lot. So we did meet with them. They worked with us pretty extensively. We got them to add quite a bit of landscaping. But yeah, it's going to be a while before the trees are mature enough to create any significant shade. But really, they didn't even have to do what they did. But we did get them to make some improvements.
Okay, great. Also, I wanted to correct Ryan on his comments about the Nike accident from 1958. It did not occur on Sandy Hook. It was up in the Chapel Hill section of Middletown itself. Just so,
Yeah.
The guy was,
okay.
I apologize.
You're talking about the only memorial.
The memorial is out on Sandy Hook. Sorry, guys.
Yep. I know Ryan's a little young to remember something like that, but I figured I'd educate him a little bit.
Thanks, Tom.
Hey,
All
no
right.
problem.
Thanks,
Thank you
Tom.
very much.
Yes, sir. All right. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment?
Hi, my name is Margie Curcio, and I'm at 51 Rayner Avenue in Middletown. I've seen that several school districts have sent letters to Governor Murphy regarding rescinding or using home rule for the mask mandates for our children. Is Middletown Township planning to do the same and issue a resolution?
Issuing it for home rule?
Right, so that the home rule apparently is that each township or county should be able to make the decisions for their schools.
Listen, sometimes I've been listening, sometimes I haven't, but we've been utilizing our authority. At no point did I ever close the parks throughout the entire pandemic, and that was as a direct result of home rule. I trust that the Middletown Board of Education is going to do the best that they can. This township committee has stood up once before in stating that we asked the governor to rescind one of his executive ordinances that required masking in schools. And I believe that the Board of Education is set to set some policy on that this week.
Okay. Because Diocese of Trenton, which controls Middletown schools, has said today that they're going to go along with the mandate. So this is a big issue.
You're talking about parochial schools, though.
Well, both schools, because my daughter was at Ocean Avenue School, and I had to keep her virtual all of last year because she cannot wear a mask.
Well, the Diocese of Trenton doesn't have anything to do with the Middletown Public School District.
No, I understand that. She was in Ocean Avenue, and I had to keep her last year home, and then I was switching her to parochial, and now both are doing it. And, you know, it's near impossible to get a doctor to write an exemption notice. And a lot of parents are unenrolling their children and making plans to homeschool. So I wanted to know if the Middletown Township is going to do anything to request that Murphy rescinds this order.
I think the Middletown Board of Education is going to stand up for parental rights and ensure that whatever a parent's wish on how their child goes to school, what color their shirt is, what color their hair is, what type of brand shoes they have on. Every parent has that choice. I wouldn't want somebody telling me what I would have to do for my daughter, and I don't think anybody. For 16 months, all I've listened to is that myself, this governing body, the administrator, and the director of our Department of Health did not have the ability to make decisions. Now, all of a sudden, because it's politically expedient, I get to make decisions. So that's where I stand on the issue.
Right. Okay, well, thank you. I thought there were going to be more people on for this, but I think I'm the only one.
We'll see. There's two more hands up, so we'll see. I want to lie to you and say that I can see who they are, but they keep moving the screen away from me more and more, I think, to purposely mess with me so that I'm not unable to see. And I think it's Hybels doing, I'm not sure. All right, thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
What are you laughing at, Colleen?
Maybe you're just getting old.
I don't think that's the case.
Would you like to make a comment?
Yes, Joan Musso. I live
Hello, Ms.
across,
Musso.
I live
How are
across
you?
from the ice rink directly. Their parking lot in the back faces my house. The noise is horrible. I called Ellen Salvo from the county. She came out. She called me. She told me that the noise was too much and they were going to be fine and they were going to fix the problem. They fixed it for a while. Now it's noisy again. So I called her again. She said to me, she gave me Ken Parker's number to call him, that he would handle it. I have called him twice, left messages, and he has not called me back. But the noise is unbearable. And the lights from the parking lot in my yard, terrible.
Well, thank you very much. And as your neighbor very well said, we discussed, we will definitely be contacting the Ice World to discuss, without question, removing the second light fixture that is not not on their approved plan to be there. So that's number one. Let's just start off with that. Number two is discussing some type of mitigation that can occur to prevent the noise pollution that it seems you and your neighbor, and I have no doubt to disagree or doubt that, but to contact the county and discuss some type of mitigation with the owners of Ice World.
Oh, okay,
Thank you very much for your comments.
thank you.
Would you like to make a comment?
I would actually. Good evening. My name is Pam Pizzi, and I live at 5 Village Lane. I also want to make a comment on the governor's mask mandate for the students in Middletown Board of Education. I know that the board has their own decision making to be made, but I also do understand that you guys as a committee had also requested back in, was it May, that he would take into consideration for making it optional, or to at least reconsider his standpoints on it. I know another caller has also called in and expressed her thoughts and concerns on it. I would like to request once again that you guys send out some sort of formal letter. There are other towns that are also doing it and other councils that have also done it. And I just kind of feel like the more people that stand up for our kids is going to show more unity, and it's going to show that we're all not on the same page. And this isn't a one size fits all kind of thing. There's many children that go to school that cannot wear this mask, and it is impeding their learning. So I just feel like for our children, we just need to stand up, and somebody needs to protect them at this point. And if us parents can't feel like we have a voice in this, we're asking for you to help us be that voice, and to please stand up for our kids and try again and send a letter in unity for all of these children.
Well, thank you very much for your comments. We'll certainly take that into consideration and act in a way that the Township Committee feels fit. I just want to say that I agree with you, and I do not believe that government should ever act. I believe that government should always act prudently and not in panic. That is incredibly important to guide any type of decision that any governing body at any level makes.
Yes, I agree with you, and I appreciate that, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. All right, anybody else joining us via Webex?
There's one call-in user.
Okay, go ahead.
Would you like to make a comment?
Hi. Sure. Hi, my name's Jim McGinty. I live in River Plaza by Half Mile Road at 10 Meadow Way, across from the Dutch Neck Park.
How are you today,
Hello?
sir?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Yeah, I just want to, just make sure if you could put a little more presence at night. Sometimes the kids go down there at night and then they get lost coming back up, and they wander onto my neighbor's property and they start cursing. When they get lost, they start cursing, and it gets a little upsetting. So it's been a lot better this year than last.
That's always good
the
to hear.
Yeah,
I'll certainly reach out to Chief Weber and ask that throughout the night that park is obviously put in patrol.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah. I think there was a fire down there or someone got hurt last month. But yeah, if you could just reach out to the chief and, make sure that they come around, especially at night. It may help deter some of the commotion, especially for my neighbor.
No problem at all.
Okay. All right. Congratulations on your daughter.
Thank you
Her
very
birthday.
much. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a
All
good
right.
night. Any
You
other
too.
members of the public wishing to make a public comment? Scroll down for time. Okay, seeing no other. Come on up. You just have to state your name and address.
Paper 794. While I'm here, I might as well ask, the Belford redevelopment.
Yep.
What's happening with that? Where can I get, just wondering, I know I had read some things about it years ago about the contracts and then it was like put off and all
Yeah.
of it. Is there anything going to be done with that? Like, as
We
far as-
actually just amended part of it tonight. We put a resolution on the agenda to allow for solar
that's why
to happen, which was not authorized within the original redevelopment plan. But we do have a designated redeveloper. They're in charge of proposing. Unfortunately, due to COVID, properly addressing the parking needs over in what would be a proposed parking garage on the existing parking lot. You have to mitigate that parking in some way, shape, or form, right? I mean, you have an insane amount of parking that occurs all the way from the terminal, all the way back into the side streets. So,
additional.
well, in the redevelopment plan that's been around for, I don't know, 10 years. So there's a maybe less than 10 years, but for quite a while, this redevelopment plan called for a parking structure. Unfortunately, due to COVID and people not taking the ferry as often going into New York, very difficult to properly address how many parking spaces are appropriate. I believe that the Belford redevelopment process and Route 36 are the two biggest projects that the township has to push across the finish line, because the economic success of Route 36 and the Belford redevelopment project are critical to Middletown, absolutely critical. And you have great businesses going in over by the co-op now. You have Ross Brewing Company, which is set to open up, which will be our second brewery here in town. They're opening up probably at the end of this year, closer to the end of this year. But you're talking about an economic haven that was once a landfill, in all honesty, and turning it into an economic engine that is able to propel Middletown, not just in the immediate, but into the future, without question.
So
It's not dead, it's still going. We just have to wait for people to start riding the ferry. Buy a couple tickets to the ferry so that I can start justifying how many parking spaces.
was going to be like a park and.
There's quite a bit. There had to be not only areas for educational purposes, like trails and areas to discuss certain types of the fisheries that exist out there, the species that exist out there. Yeah, there was an educational component. There was an arts component to it in terms of perhaps building some type of small enclosed amphitheater that allows for people to come in and play a band, or get Vinnie Brand to come in and do a comic routine, right? So these are all the items that go along with the business development and the residential component that goes along with it.
Culture there, not just like something that's like, like a 7-Eleven.
100.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Want to keep the beauty of that area. It really is quite unique.
The goal is to preserve the co-op and the fishing village that exists there and add on to it. If you go down to Point Pleasant Beach, around their fishing village right there, you have incredible restaurants, and you're 2 feet away from where the clams that you're eating are coming out, right? So,
I'm sure this shouldn't have whole.
I just.
That's it. I don't know.
They are a big part of the project, and they have to be. So it's not dead. And my first year as mayor, we designated a redeveloper in 2019. And, you know, unfortunately, due to COVID last year, that caused a little bit of a hamstring, but we intend on moving forward. And tonight was the first step in moving forward.
So what's happening? You know?
Yeah.
So do you think it will eventually
I do.
come to fruition?
I think that the solar is a critical component to making the rest of the project work.
And of course, they're gonna think about like the impact on like traffic, and that's a whole.
We have quite a few proposals to mitigate all of that.
And where can I get information on that?
It's all on our website. The whole redevelopment plan is right on our website.
I'm ignorant, but I'm glad that.
You're not ignorant. You just have everything else going on like everyone else in life, you know? We can't all be up on the redevelopment plans of an area, right? Yeah.
By the way, Sophia Haber-Brock is my.
No. Oh my gosh. She's amazing. She's incredible. How many? Yeah. Is she still doing the
Doing
interviews?
Yeah.
So she interviewed me.
You and the little baby, your baby, so.
So she interviewed me pre-baby and post-baby, and she said I look a lot older in the second. I'm kidding. She didn't say that, but I could tell she was thinking it. So, well, you should be very proud.
She actually offered the community something.
She did, absolutely.
She was only 16.
Amazing, amazing. And she wrote a wonderful essay for how proud she was of the community for the League of Municipalities essay contest that they. You should go read it because I was very touched by it. It was very good. You have a very great daughter. You should be very proud. Any other members of the public wishing to make a public comment? Seeing no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and adjourn. Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yeah.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Committeewoman Snell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.